David Nicola Cicilline, born July 15, 1961, is an American politician who has been the U.S. representative for Rhode Island's 1st congressional district since 2011. He is a member of the Democratic Party. He previously served as Mayor of Providence, Rhode Island, from 2003 to 2011, and was the first openly gay mayor of a U.S. state capital. Early life, education, and law career. Cicilline was born July 15, 1961, in Providence, Rhode Island. His mother, Sabra née Peskin, is Jewish, and his father, John Francis Jack Cicilline, is Italian-American and Catholic. His father is a prominent attorney in Providence who defended local mafia figures in the 1970s and 1980s and was an aide to Mayor Joseph A. Dawley, Jr. He was raised in Providence before moving to Narragansett. In high school, he served as president of his graduating class and participated in the Close-Up Washington Civic Education program before heading to Brown University, where he established a branch of the college Democrats with his classmate, John F. Kennedy, Jr. He took a degree in political science, graduating magna cum laude in 1983. He then went to Georgetown University Law Center where he earned a J.D. He remained in Washington, D.C. for a while to work as a lawyer at the Public Defender Service for the District of Columbia, Rhode Island House of Representatives, 1995 to 2003. Elections. He ran for the Rhode Island Senate in 1992 against incumbent Senator Rhoda Perry but lost the Democratic primary. 2 years later, he was elected to the Rhode Island House of Representatives, representing the 4th District on Providence's east side. He won the Democratic primary to succeed retiring Rep. Linda J. Kushner with 56% of the vote and was unopposed in the general election. Tenure. According to his website, he earned a reputation as a fierce champion of political reform and gun safety, and his dedication to ethics won him Common Cause's top ranking. Quote, Committee assignments. Mayor of Providence, 2003 to 2011. Elections. Cicilline was elected in a landslide in November 2002 with 84% of the vote. Following the downfall of controversial Mayor Vincent Cianci and the aftermath of Operation Plunder Dome, he succeeded acting Mayor John J. Lombardi, who served out Cianci's term and decided not to run in the following election. In 2006, Cicilline won an easy re-election with 83% of the vote. A Brown University survey in September 2007 found that 64% of state residents approved of the job Cicilline was doing in Providence. By February 2008, that number had dropped to 51%, and in September 2008, his popularity fell to 46%. Accomplishments. Providence has experienced a significant drop in crime, attributed by some to community policing. As of 2007, Providence saw its lowest crime rate in 30 years. The city has eliminated 14% of management positions, dropped to 17th in the state for per capita tax and received an A bond rating from all 3 major bond rating agencies. Affiliations. Cicilline was 2008 president of the National Conference of Democratic Mayors. As mayor, he was a member of the Mayors Against Illegal Guns Coalition, a bipartisan group with a stated goal of making the public safer by getting illegal guns off the streets. The coalition was co-chaired by Boston Mayor Thomas Menino and New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. In 2009, Cicilline served as one of 6 selection committee members for the Rudy Bruner Award for Urban Excellence. Mayoral policies. Cicilline's administration focused on the residential neighborhoods of Providence, as well as the Renaissance areas of downtown and Federal Hill that thrived under Chauncey, and continued the promotion of the city via the tax breaks given to artists and movie productions. A former state legislator, he overcame the animosity between state and city government that had existed under Chauncey. In May 2009, Cicilline gained national headlines after proposing a $150 per semester head tax on each of the 25,000 college students attending 4 universities in the city. The tax was an effort to close $6 to $8 million of a reported $17 million city budget shortfall. The Associated Press reported that if enacted, it would become the first in the nation tax on students simply for being enrolled and attending college within the city limits. Cicilline has expressed concern about the Providence metropolitan area's carbon footprint. As mayor, he sought to implement a streetcar, light rail type system for the city. He also focused efforts to fight poverty. He won passage of a vacant and abandoned property penalty to provide an economic disincentive for banks to keep properties off the housing market for extended periods of time. He also proposed municipal bonds for the purpose of buying foreclosed properties to expand housing. Cicilline is a strong proponent of after-school activities as a means of improving opportunities for children. As mayor, Cicilline served as chair of the Standing Committee for Children, Health and Human Services of the United States Conference of Mayors. He has also been recognized for his efforts to establish youth programming and to strengthen ties among schools, businesses and local government, in order to expand access to after-school programming. Under Cicilline, city officials worked with Rhode Island's Education Partnership to form PASA, the Providence After School Alliance. Cicilline also serves on the board of the national non-profit After School Alliance, an organization that works to promote and to support after-school activities for all children. Between 1980 and 2009, most prostitution was legal in Rhode Island. As mayor, Cicilline was a strong advocate for outlawing it. Cicilline personally testified in Superior Court to stop the opening of spas in Providence, and discussed his position in the 2009 documentary Happy Endings. He lobbied for a prostitution law not only to arrest sex workers and their customers, but also to fine landlords that permitted prostitution on their premises. On September 2, 2009, Cicilline submitted an ordinance to the City Council to ban indoor prostitution in the city, imposing a $500 fine and a potential 30-day prison sentence on violators. On November 3, 2009, Rhode Island Governor Donald Cicilline signed into law a bill making the buying and selling of sexual services a crime. See also, prostitution in Rhode Island. During the 2008 Democratic primaries, Cicilline supported Hillary Clinton. In August 2008, he attended the Democratic National Convention in Denver. While there, he told an interviewer that he now supported Barack Obama, saying, "Here is a real sense of hope and optimism about what we're about to do and about a chance in leadership in this country." ICE controversy with Governor Cicilline. On June 8, 2008, Marco Riz, an illegal immigrant from Guatemala who had been arrested twice the previous year while under a deportation order, was charged with the robbery and rape of a 30-year-old woman. A federal immigration and customs enforcement ICE agent criticized the Providence Police Department for not checking Riz's immigration status at the time of his previous arrest. The governor of Rhode Island, Donald Cicilline, blamed Cicilline for the department's failure. Previously, Cicilline had signed an executive order requiring all state officials to work with ICE on arrests or hirings of illegal immigrants. When Cicilline asked the same of local agents, Providence Police Chief Dean Esserman refused. Cicilline responded that it has been the policy of the police department to work with ICE and its database on all arrests, that the policy had been followed when Riz was arrested, and that the ICE had failed to act. On July 8, 2008, Rhode Island Governor Donald Cicilline claimed that Cicilline was not upholding his oath of office by failing to report illegal immigrants, suggesting the U.S. attorney investigate the mayor. Mayor Cicilline responded by accusing Cicilline of playing politics. 8 days later, writing an op-ed in the Providence Journal stating that the city always has and will continue to report all arrests to immigration authorities, and that the focus is therefore inappropriate. Firefighters union contract arbitration. Beginning in 2003, Cicilline was engaged in a dispute with the Providence Firefighters Labor Union, Local 799. In a July 2002 email Cicilline sent to the members of Local 799, he indicated that he hoped to resolve their pending contract dispute with the city within 30 days of taking office. In August, Cicilline said in an interview that it was impossible for him to promise to bring the contract negotiations to a successful conclusion owing to the unpredictability of his negotiating partners. The city and the union had been in arbitration in every contract year since 2002, with Cicilline appealing one arbitration decision to the Rhode Island Supreme Court. The appeal was rejected. In 2004, Democratic vice presidential nominee John Edwards canceled a fundraising appearance in Providence in support of the Local 799. In 2007, Hillary Clinton asked Cicilline, a Clinton supporter, not to attend a Clinton rally because of threats by the union to picket the appearance. Both the Rhode Island AFL-CIO and the International Association of Firefighters, IAFF, censured Cicilline for his conduct in this matter. In 2009, due to the union picket line, the Obama administration canceled Joe Biden's appearance at the U.S. Conference of Mayors in Providence in the interests of remaining neutral in the conflict. Tax office controversy. In June 2008, John M. Cicilline, brother of Mayor Cicilline, pleaded guilty to conspiracy, obstruction of justice and making false statements for his role in the courthouse corruption scheme. Federal prosecutors indicted John M. Cicilline, disbarred attorney Joseph Bevilacqua Jr., and 2 assistants in January 2007. According to court documents, the 2 attorneys spun a complicated scheme to win leniency in a drug trafficking case. Before reporting to prison, John M. Cicilline gave the city of Providence a $75,000 check for taxes owed by a client, but asked that the check not be cashed and only held as collateral. 2 of the mayor's top aides told the city tax collector Robert Soprano not to cash the check because it would bounce. In 4 instances, Soprano said mayoral aides pressured him to perform tax favors for the mayor's friends and/or campaign contributors. The mayor claimed the taxpayers had been given relief because the city had made errors on their taxes, not because they were his friends or contributors. During the controversy, Soprano was fired. On May 10, 2009, Robert Soprano filed a lawsuit against the city of Providence alleging conspiracy, corruption, libel and wrongful termination. The suit accuses John M. Cicilline, the mayor's imprisoned brother, of attempting to defraud the city of Providence by writing a bad check for $75,000 on behalf of a delinquent taxpayer. Furthermore, it alleges the mayor and his aides willfully conspired to conceal John M. Cicilline's illegal activities. Soprano also charges that he was fired not for poor job performance, but because he resisted the mayor's efforts to perform tax favors for political friends and supporters. Lawyers for Soprano are asking for $10 million. The single-count complaint against John M. Cicilline was dismissed by Judge Kristen Rogers on November 17, 2009. Budget controversy. Shortly after assuming office, Cicilline's successor as the mayor of the city of Providence, Angel Taveras, announced that the city was facing a Category 5 hurricane due to its substantial debt. Taveras was compelled to engage in austerity cuts, including teacher layoffs and pay cuts for city employees. The total structural debt inherited by Taveras in 2011 was $180 million. A report commissioned by the City of Providence found that the Cicilline administration had transferred funds from the undesignated surplus, the city's cash reserves, without the proper approval of the City Council, had not provided financial information on a timely basis to the independent auditor, the City Council or the internal auditor, and had not provided the City Council with monthly financial statements or with projections of year-end surpluses or deficits. Among other findings, Providence City Council Finance Chairman John Igliozzi accused him of hiding the scope of the city's fiscal woes through illusory revenues, borrowing and other tricks. Single quote. Fitch Ratings also downgraded Providence's ratings, citing imprudent budgeting decisions and failure to implement recurring budget solutions. Cicilline, who portrayed himself as a reformer looking to restore transparency to City Hall, was criticized by his opponents from the primary and House elections. Democrat Anthony Gemma said that he felt Cicilline had lied his way to federal office, and Republican John Laughlin said, "You just don't lie to people in such a transparent way." Quote, a year later, it was reported that Providence could be on the brink of bankruptcy. Former Mayor Vincent Cianci put much blame on Cicilline for Providence's problems, saying that although he didn't think it was entirely his fault, he did hide it from the public. Experts have said that the only way out for Providence may be to declare bankruptcy. U.S. House of Representatives 2011 present elections 2010. On February 13, 2010, Cicilline announced his candidacy for the U.S. House of Representatives following the retirement of Patrick J. Kennedy. He won the Democratic primary in September with 37% of the vote, defeating businessman Anthony Gemma, 23%, State Representative David Siegel, 20%, and State Party Chairman Bill Lynch, 20%. In November, he defeated Republican State Representative John Laughlin with 51% of the vote. 2012. He ran for re-election in the newly redrawn 1st District, and won. A February 2012 survey showed Cicilline's approval rating had dropped almost 10% in 3 months, with the percent rating his performance excellent or good dropping by 24%. Anthony Gemma, Cicilline's primary opponent, said that the poll clearly showed that a majority of Rhode Islanders wanted to see Cicilline go. Quote, in 2011, it was reported that although Rhode Island had experienced a population shift of only 7,200, a new congressional map would put 125,000 Rhode Islanders into new districts, which would help Democrats, and notably Cicilline. Fellow House Democrat Jim Langevin accused Cicilline of trying to use the redistricting to aid with his re-election campaign. Possible Republican contenders suggested that it was an attempt to save Cicilline after his approval numbers had dropped. Cicilline commented, saying that he did not attempt to influence the redistricting. 2014. He won re-election to a third term in office. 2016. Cicilline won re-election to a fourth term in office in the 2016 election. He defeated his opponent, Republican H. Russell Taub, with 64% of the vote. Tenure. Upon being sworn in, Cicilline became the fourth openly gay member of Congress. Cicilline says that his biggest priority in Congress is helping the creation of good-paying jobs in Rhode Island. He also has indicated his support for small businesses, seniors, Medicare, and for bringing the troops home. Cicilline has voted with his party 96% of the time. He has been described as a populist-leaning liberal, foreign affairs, an avid supporter of non-violence. Cicilline has taken a stance against the U.S. military presence in Libya, voting to limit the use of funds supporting NATO operations in Libya and to remove armed forces from Libya. In 2013, he went on record saying that he was skeptical of the Obama administration's attempts to get congressional approval for U.S. military action in Syria. Gun rights. On a domestic level, he is a strong anti-gun advocate and was a founding member of the bipartisan coalition Mayors Against Illegal Guns. In 2010, the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence endorsed Cicilline. In 2000, the National Rifle Association awarded him an F lifetime score. Cicilline has also indicated his support for a ban on the sale or transfer of all forms of semi-automatic weapons, for more stringent state restrictions on the purchase and possession of firearms, and for a requirement that manufacturers equip firearms with child safety locks. On November 16, 2011, Cicilline made a public statement against the National Right to Carry Reciprocity Act, which would require all states to allow out-of-state visitors to carry concealed firearms as long as the laws of the visitor's home states allow them to do so. He insisted that the Second Amendment had nothing to do with this bill, which, he said, would infringe upon the right of state governments to protect the safety of their citizens, and would force communities to accept concealed carry standards set by other states. In October 2017, following the Las Vegas shooting, Cicilline introduced a bill to ban bump stocks. Reproductive rights. Cicilline is pro-choice and advocates that abortions should always be legally available and that government funding should be provided to clinics and medical facilities that provide abortion services. He opposed the Protect Life Act of October 2011, which would ban the use of federal funds to cover any costs under healthcare plans that pay for abortions and would allow federally funded hospitals to refuse to perform the abortions, even in cases in which the mother's life is in danger, stating that the bill would put women's lives at risk and would limit how women can spend their own private dollars to purchase health insurance. Cicilline declared it outrageous. He also voted in February 2011 against prohibiting the disbursement of federal funds to Planned Parenthood and, in May 2011, against prohibiting taxpayer funding of abortion. Cicilline has also co-sponsored the Violence Against Women Health Initiative Act of 2011 to improve the healthcare system's assessment and response to domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, and stalking, and for other purposes. Veterans Affairs. Cicilline has declared his support for veterans' access to a range of resources in healthcare, housing, employment, mental health services, and education. He has co-sponsored the Veterans Dog Training Therapy Act to aid veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, the Disabled Veterans Tax Termination Act to permit disabled veterans to receive both retirement pay and disability compensation, and the Veteran Employment Transition Act of 2011 to extend work opportunities to recently discharged veterans. On November 18, 2011, Cicilline said the following about the Vow Hire Heroes Act, which increases job opportunities for veterans. This vote ensures that Rhode Island veterans and all of our nation's veterans will receive some of the tools and resources they need to successfully re-enter the workforce and provide for their families and loved ones. Quote, equals LGBT rights equals. Cicilline introduced the Equality Act in 2015 to amend the 1964 Civil Rights Act and expand protections to LGBTQ people. In September 2017, he introduced the Equality Act of 2017, equals business and telecommunications equals. In 2017, Cicilline joined the new Antitrust Caucus and co-sponsored the Merger Retrospective Act, which would require the Federal Trade Commission and the Department of Justice to do yearly studies on the effects of corporate mergers on the economy. At the time of Cicilline's joining of the Antitrust Caucus, was the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Regulatory Reform, Commercial and Antitrust Law. Cicilline has come out publicly in favor of net neutrality, saying that he will do whatever it takes to stop the Federal Communications Commission's proposed plans to end regulation of Internet service providers under Title II. House Leadership, Co-Chair, Democratic Policy and Communications Committee. Committee Assignments. Committee on Foreign Affairs, Subcommittee on Europe, Eurasia, and Emerging Threats, Subcommittee on Middle East and North Africa, Committee on Judiciary, Subcommittee on Immigration and Border Security, Subcommittee on Regulatory Reform, Commercial and Antitrust Law. Ranking Member. Caucus Memberships. Congressional Arts Caucus, Congressional Common Ground Caucus, Co-Founder, Congressional Progressive Caucus, Vice Chair, Congressional Buy American Caucus, House Manufacturing Caucus, Congressional Creative Rights Caucus, Congressional LGBT Equality Caucus, Co-Chair, Antitrust Caucus, House Climate Solutions Caucus. See also, List of Jewish members of the United States Congress. List of LGBT members of the United States Congress. Congressman David Cicilline. Official U.S. House site. David Cicilline for Congress. David Cicilline at Curlie. Based on DMOZ. Biography at the Biographical Directory of the United States Congress. Profile at Project Vote Smart. Financial information. Federal office. At the Federal Election Commission. Legislation sponsored at the Library of Congress. Mayor. Broder. David S. June 8, 2006. A reformer in Rhode Island. The Washington Post. Retrieved 29 June 2007.